Happy Black History Month. You're here at the show. You think you should know just what Othello's all about. But I'm here to say it's just a damn play. So won't you help me sing and shout? Shakespeare sucks. Shakespeare sucks. Got us feeling so unsure, feeling insecure, stressing me out, giving me acid reflux. Shakespeare sucks. Shakespeare sucks. There's no test at the end, so relax, my friends. It's just a trend that never gives up. Shakespeare sucks. Now you're confused, 'cause I just diffused the pretension you were sitting on. But it's okay, it feels good to say, Billy Shakespeare, you're getting shitted on, 'cause Shakespeare sucks. Shakespeare sucks. Gotta prove that you're so smart, but like holding in a fart, it'll make your heart and mind just self-destruct, 'cause Shakespeare sucks. Shakespeare sucks. No one's gonna get an A, so it's okay to say enough with these long-ass plays. Shakespeare sucks. It feels so good to say it, y'all. It feels so good to say Shakespeare sucks. Can you say it? Shakespeare sucks? How many of us in here ever had to read a Shakespeare play? Raise your hand, keep your hand up, and give it a little middle finger. Just the first knuckle. Because Shakespeare does suck. Someone somewhere in some theater is always doing some Shakespeare production. And you know what? I'll buy a ticket. It's the one time I feel really smart for buying the ticket. And then I'm kind of like, Take Romeo and Juliet. Anybody read that? Yeah. I read that in high school. It was bad enough I was dealing with back acne, food in my braces, boys who didn't know I existed, but now I have to contemplate suicide. What about The Tempest? Anybody see that one? I've seen that like 9 times. What is it about? What is the Caliban? What's that? Shakespeare is just one of those things in the long line of things I've had to pretend like are great or good or worthy, when in honesty, I just don't care. Like Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. I don't care. Or like craft beer. That's big now. Woo, right? I just want to get hammered. I don't care. Friends, the sitcom, I'll be there for you. No. And this last one is tough. It feels like a quiet confession just between us, but the Beatles? But act like I care, because it makes me seem smart in front of a certain type of people, usually white people, like me, a black woman talking about Othello. Wait, where was I? Oh yeah, Shakespeare died, blah, blah, we know all the facts. I went to see a play about me, and now I don't know how to react. Shakespeare sucks. I went to see a very good friend of mine play the title role in Othello. Which reminds me, if you have friends who are artists, buy it, eat it, put it on your body, sit on it, read it, put it on your wall, support your artist friends, okay? It's not enough to say, oh, we're friends, I love you. Support them with your dollars, yeah? And when you do buy the ticket, don't text them with a million questions. Is there parking? Nobody's buying $500 on-the-run tickets to Beyonce, texting Jay-Z. Are there vegan options? Don't do it. Anyway, I go to see my friend in Othello. Are you familiar with Othello? Okay. It's the one where the black man kills the white woman, but it doesn't involve a Bronco or ill-fitting gloves. Or Johnny Cochran. R.I.P. Anyway, I go and see this play. My back is a little bit up, because usually when I go to the theater, I'm one of a few black people in the space. It's usually very old and white. Hello? I'm glad you're here, though. But did you buy your ticket? Okay, I'm really glad. Hello, welcome. Okay. So, hey, you sat up front. That's bold. So usually I am not in my demographic. Usually everyone in the audience, many of the members in the audience have come from the suburbs. There's a lot of discussion about, did you find safe parking? And the city is so clean. And I read about it in the Inquirer, right? And don't let it be a play with one black woman in the show. Because that's when I go to the bathroom during intermission and I feel a soft hand on my arm. You were amazing. Thank you. So I go to the theater. I'm one of the few black people, as many of us in here know, if you go to a space and you're the only black people and you're well-dressed, people think you're somebody. You must be somebody famous. This is generally liberal white folk, and they've learned not to ask because then they look racist as fuck. Anyway, I go to see Othello, and as you can tell, I'm a little hype, right? I'm ready to be like, oh, this is why he killed her, and that's why we gotta kill all y'all. I'm ready, but I'm not prepared. Because yes, in Othello, a black man does kill a white woman. That does happen. And I identify with Othello's loneliness. But I also could identify with Desdemona, his wife, the woman he kills. And I could identify with Iago, the man who sets everything off. I could identify with Iago's wife, Emilia. I could identify with the town prostitute. Like, I got it. I got it. I felt seen. Maybe even understood. There are no black women in Othello. But if I'm nowhere, can I be anywhere? And if I'm nothing, can I be anything I want? Othello is a play in which the main character, Othello, is driven crazy, kills his wife, and kills himself. Now, the person that sets this plan in motion is Othello's employee and right-hand man, Iago. Iago has dutifully served Othello throughout the years, bringing in the donuts, setting up the chairs and the tables, okay? Scheduling the appointments for Othello, then canceling those appointments when Othello was late for no reason. So when it came time for a promotion, Iago could just taste it. He could taste success. But did Othello promote Iago? No. Because Othello is like every other shitty, narcissistic, self-serving boss who overlooks all your efforts to recognize the suck-up, who reminds them of a younger, sexier version of themselves. I was never the younger, sexier version of anybody. Needless to say, Iago is pissed. But he can't tell Othello he's pissed because he needs his job. So instead, he crafts a plan to get so deep into his head as to make him doubt everybody and everything. This involves a handkerchief, naturally, but I'll come back to that.
I follow him to serve my turn upon him.
I follow him to serve my turn upon him.
I follow him to serve my turn upon him.
How long do you think Iago's been mad? Othello is the final target of his explosion of rage, but I'd wager Iago's been angry for a very, very long time. Perhaps his station in life has made it difficult for him to be openly angry because it won't be perceived as drive or passion. To the wider world, his anger might look like insubordination or aggression. So instead, he's held on to it for a very, very long time until twice a week on Sunday evenings and Wednesday mornings, I sat between my mother's soft, warm thighs, an elbow on each one of her knees, and in my hand, a jar of green Ultra Sheen hair grease. It also comes in blue. My mother would part my hair and grease my scalp and use that hard plastic Annie's comb to tame this hair into submission. That comb, y'all, would be struggling to get through this nappy, kinky hair. Just on instinct, I'd raise my hand to stop it. My mother would slap my hand. Little girl, move your hand. And my bottom lip would start quivering and I'd start crying. And I think sometimes my mom was crying too. And later on, I was diagnosed with a condition known as tenderheadedness. But my hair had to be tamed, and it hurt, and I wasn't supposed to have any feelings about that. Or rather, I knew my feelings wouldn't stop the pain. Tame hair meant I looked decent and presentable, and black girls must look decent and presentable at all times. But even when I looked decent and presentable and so cute in my little Peter Pan collar uniform, it didn't stop Landy in second grade from telling me as we swung upside down on the playground, my daddy doesn't like black people because they're not smart. And even when I looked decent and presentable, it didn't stop the blonde first grader from following me around in the cafeteria until she could corner me and whisper, Blackie. I couldn't be angry about that, though. My parents were working too hard to put me in good schools. I could not let them down. Emotion would let them down. Acting out, cutting up, would let them down. And I knew that by the time I was 7. I couldn't say it. I couldn't verbalize it. But I could feel it in my body. Anger was not allowed. I am not angry. Well, it's just not true. You saw a hint, you say a glint, it's not me, it's you. I am a hallmark of calm composure and patient smile. I can't be angry, though I have reason. But if it's noticed, it's like I committed treason. I am the calmest of seas, only tranquility for mine. For if I show the fury I feel, you'd have to bow down and be brought to heel. I'd summon the rage of 1,000 ancestors to stand upon your funeral pyre. I am not angry. Who even said that? It's just not true. Me, just go ahead and dead that. For I am fine. Look away. For what more can I say than hi? I am not angry. Why does the world get so afraid if I get angry? Why y'all sisters so mad all the time? You always so angry. What has a black woman's anger ever done besides move mountains, create change, and birth movements? If you truly knew my animosity, the hatred, the choler, the vast enmity, you'd cower and shake as I self-immolate in the oppression of my bloody flaming heart. Angry. You'll never trace it. I have a little buried box in which I'll place it. For if I show it, if any know it, and if it grows, it might take me under no matter how I try. I am not a So Iago was angry. And if that's all I got from the play, that would have been great. I learned something about myself. I learned something about the play. That's what good art does. But I found myself also relating to Othello. Not because he's a boss, but because he's black. And so am I. And he's the only black person in the play. Othello is an African, a Moor to be exact, who through trial and tribulation, fighting off cannibals, escaping slavery, has made his way to Venice, Italy, to become the top commander of their armed forces. He has won the hearts of the Venetian people and the hand of the loveliest white woman in town, Desdemona. Now, part of Iago's ruin my boss plan is to let Desdemona's father know that his daughter has married this black man, and they are making the beast with two backs. Desdemona's father's response is like that of any white man upon learning that his daughter is dating a black man. He tries to bring Othello up on charges. Get a brother arrested. Why would you want a black man when you could have one of these fine young white men to capture your attention? Who would want the juicy, flavorful dark meat from the Thanksgiving turkey when you could have the dry, white, unseasoned meat that needs to be rehydrated with the gravy? Othello defends himself. He runs down his credentials. He's like, hold, please. People were trying to eat me, and I escaped cannibals, okay? I was put in chains. I broke free of the chains. I survived starvation to get here, okay? And not only that, if I may remind you, you've often invited me to your house to tell you these stories, especially the cannibal part. You like the cannibal part. Well, guess what? Your daughter was next door listening. Now it's on and shabopping. In other words, hits him with the skills that pay the bills. He credentializes himself. I get that. I often do that when I'm the only black woman in a room. Whether that means wearing my ID visible on my lanyard or on my waistband at all times, walking with purpose, eyes straight ahead and chin up, or sometimes that means getting dressed up to go shopping so that when the sales associate starts to follow me around, she can see the ice on my wrists, the red bottoms of my shoes, anything that indicates I'm not here to take because I already own. Above all, you must always remain ready to explain yourself. Amen. Softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling. It's 2014, and I've been hired to lead the music at a Christian women's conference in Cape May, New Jersey. Calling for you and for me. I've schlepped my instrument, amps, microphones. I even printed out lyrics to be placed on the overhead projector so that we could all raise our voices in song and in praise of God's good deeds. See on the portals, he's waiting and watching for you and for me. I've settled into this new phase of my musical life. It's not as sexy as the late night rock gigs. No one has any drugs harder than ibuprofen. But the check's clear. No one's gonna throw up on my amp. And I actually like a lot of the music. Come home, come home. You who are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, oh sinner, come home. Amen. Okay. The organist always does too much at church, don't they? It's clipped. I kick off the conference by warming up this group of about 40 women in what I like to call my Jesus jams. Pass me not, O gentle Savior. Hear my humble cry while on others thou art calling. What? Do not pass me by. Hallelujah. Hold to God's unchanging hand. Build your hopes on things eternal. Hold to God's unchanging. Hallelujah. And this one's my favorite. Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? Uh-huh. I heard you calling in the light, right? Girl, this ain't your show. And this damn sure ain't church, okay? We're gonna need security over here. After I lead the women in song, I lay the groundwork for the lead pastor to come on out and give her sermon. She gives a fiery sermon that gets us all worked up. She's a home run, and we are filled with the Spirit. And then it's time for lunch. I head back over to my equipment to turn some things off and check a few things when I notice, coming down the center aisle, an elderly white woman on a walker. She is accompanied by another woman who I later learn is her niece. I move back towards the front of the stage because I'm sure she's coming down to compliment me on my fantastic musicianship, as one does. She, in fact, does compliment me on my musicianship. And then, can I ask you a question? Sure, I think. In my mind, I'm like, please don't let it be a Bible-based question because I'm really just here for the Jesus jams, you know. Well, my granddaughter will only date black boys, and I don't get it. She takes my smile to mean, do go on. Her niece is completely mortified. All these fine young white men out here, and she won't date her own kind. Do you think it's a low self-esteem thing? Now I'm wondering, have I disintegrated? Did I dissipate? Did I disapparate with flu powder? Is she talking to me? Is there someone behind me? I think I turned to see if there was someone behind me. I saw at least 3 or 4 other black women at this conference. Where are they now? Why is she talking to me like this when I just put my foot in these Jesus jams? What do you think I told her? I remember her soft blue eyes pleading for help to get her granddaughter away from these Negro bucks run amok. I went into a quiet thought bubble, and I thought about others who have handled this well and come before me. People like my parents, like Oprah, like the Obamas. I miss them. Like Darius Rucker of Hootie and the Blowfish. And then I thought about all the successful black men who are married to white women. Men like Tiger Woods, Seal, not anymore, but you know. Bryant Gumbel, his second wife. Ice-T, is Coco? Coco, okay. Childish Gambino, Kanye West. Maybe she would get one of these men as a grandson-in-law. I told her she should take her granddaughter and her granddaughter's boyfriend out to lunch. I don't know why I said that. I think my blood sugar was low. I knew I couldn't knock her down and get out of Jersey with all my stuff without getting caught. I knew I had to stay calm and composed. Such is the plight of the only lonely. Are you an only lonely? At your job? At your school? Were you an only lonely? You were. Gifted classes early on, reading by age 4, climbing ladders, opening windows, kicking down every door. I'm ready to get my gold star. I'm ready to get an A. I can't wait. It's gonna be great to meet friends just like me today. Well, I'm one of the only ones, feel a little bit lonely ones, but it's fine. My mommy said I represent the best in all of us, so I'll be the only one. I just have one quick question. By the time I reached high school in my 1,200-student sprawling suburban school, there were just 3 of us black girls in my honors classes, me, Nicole, and Nicolette. We competed for grades. We argued about which member of New Edition was the cutest. Johnny Gill, duh, he does count. And we made fun of teachers who would confuse us. Good answer, Nicole. Nicolette. Imbalia. I wondered why in this big school were there only 3 black girls in the honors classes? Who had tracked us? Who decided that we would be the ones most likely to succeed? And where were my best friends, Mira or DJ? Or the boys that I knew were so funny like Rudy or Jamal, who was a born leader? Why weren't they in our classes? Moving into high school, still making straight A's. My friend calls me a schwarzer, but by now I'm verkackter, so I forgive him anyway. I'm in the Ivy League now. Have I transcended race? I'm the diversity at my university, proving that I earned my place. Oh, come on. Now I'm one of the only ones, feel a little bit lonely ones. I want to make my whole entire black community proud. Shh, they call you ghetto if you get too loud. So I'm the only one. I just have one quick question. Only lonelies always have to stay calm and aware. When I'm the only in a room, I'm very careful about what I say or do, lest I slip up and misrepresent everyone that looks like me and make it harder for everyone that comes after me. Working at my 8 to 6, I never fail to impress, whether it's the car that I drive or giving high fives or my solid, you gonna leave me hanging? I wish there were more. I'm on my way to the top. I'll lift as I climb if I have the time, but I won't ever, 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 ever stop. Now I'm one of the only ones. Look at the trophies won. At the company picnic, you won't catch me slipping, eating watermelon and fried chicken. I'm the only one. I just have one quick question. I feel like I'm not supposed to ask the question because it's a betrayal. I'm supposed to just be grateful that I made it through and that I got over. I'm just supposed to feel blessed and wait out the long moral arc of the universe that will eventually bend towards justice. I feel like I'm supposed to just represent. So, only lonely Othello has clarified why Desdemona, the mad white man's daughter, would want to be with him in the first place. I get it. But then what really gets me is that Desdemona loudly and proudly gets in her dad's face like, yeah, what O said. She sweetly stands before her father and she says, Daddy, just as Mommy chose you over her daddy, I'm choosing my fine, chocolatey ass, mahogany, original Aunt Viv complected man. Over you. Your work here is done. And he works me over. I need a drink of water. Look at this. Look at all this right here.
Once you go black, said you never go back.
Once you go black,
said you never go back.
black of the berry, the sweet of the juicy, got me all open and gon' get me loose. Tuned out my daddy and tuned out the noise, cause he wondering why I don't like them white boys. Watch the way a brother walk, Denzel. Listen how a brother talk, and tell how the panties get wet from the man with the world on his shoulders that dares him to ever get older, that tries to cut him down before he reaches 21, but he swaggers like a goddamn son of a gun. Hey! Woo!
Once you go back, said you never go back.
Once you go back, you never go black.
Once you go back, said
You know about that. Once you go black, you never go back.
Once you go back, said you never
I know
go
you
back.
know.
You never go back, you never go back. Once you go back, said you never go back.
Told me how he got sliced up and almost died, how he ducked the cannibals to try to eat him and he cried. 'Twas passing strange and I started to change. I just want him inside me to help rearrange. My mind is going crazy for days. Makes it feel like a daisy to flower me. Your love empowers me. I do not cower for me. Just want to take a shower with me.
Once you go back, said you never go back.
Once you go back, you never go back.
Once you go back, said you never go back.
Once you go back, you never go back.
Once Once you go black, said you never go back. You never go back.
Ladies!
Once you go black, said you never go back.
Even Desdemona mama know that she also like him like so. Even Desdemona mama know, cause she also like him like so. Brown, smart, tall, thick, broad shoulders, big dick. African Italian, hop on Italian, ride that red, black and green medallion. I'll ride for this nigga.
I'll ride for this nigga.
Take part of this nigga.
Be the bride to this nigga.
Take the side of this nigga.
Take the side of this nigga.
Even die for this
Even
nigga.
die for this nigga.
Once you go black, said you never go back.
Woo!
Once you go black, said you never go back. Once you go back, said you never go back. You never go
What
back.
you know about that?
Go back. You never 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 go back.
Whew. Some of y'all look terrified. And then they be the ones like all into it. Yeah. I don't even. Okay. This part makes me excited with Desdemona because Desdemona is expressing her right to pleasure, to please and be pleased. And she's doing the patriarchy correctly because as many of us know, if you want one man to leave you alone, you got to let him know you got a new man already. Desdemona expressing her right to pleasure makes me want to stand up and cheer because surely the freedom of a white woman's pussy with a black man's dick has got to signal some sort of liberation for this black woman's pussy. It's got to, doesn't it? If she gets to declare, I do too, right? I was a good girl. I mean, I would like suck my teeth and roll my eyes like quietly, say something on my bro. But by and large, I was a good girl because I never seemed in any way sexual. I never seemed like I wanted anybody's hands on my body or in my body. And really to the wider world and community, I seemed asexual. I did my schoolwork. I did the extra credit. I asked for extra credit, and I did it. I studied classical piano. I faithfully wore my retainer, and I was very boring, like Condoleezza Rice. I was a good girl. Because you know what's better than sex? A book. And I should know Rosa Guy, Alice Childress, Virginia Hamilton, Lois Duncan, Stephen King, Nancy Friday. Anybody know anything about Nancy Friday? One lonely weekend evening, while snooping through my mother's nightstand, I came across Nancy Friday's The Secret Garden and learned that a book could be pleasurable while you pleasure yourself. The Secret Garden encompasses a variety of sexual fantasies of women, and it's probably what we would call a problematic fave in 2020. But it awakened me, and it conflicted me, because I didn't want to be a fast girl. I didn't want to be a fast-assed, hot-tailed girl. Look at them, they're so loud, they're so pretty, what a crowd. Reapplying, lip gloss shining, clear complexion, hair laid to perfection. They are laughing, what's so funny, they're together, and how come she never seems confused, only amused. They seem so grown. Over here, in a cage, guess I'm slow for my age. Don't ask questions, should know answers. Does sex too early really give you cancer? I need a book, I'll do is look, oh, I can look above the spine and maybe find my own. But those kinds of girls, they don't seem afraid. They look good, they smell great. Are they getting laid? Girls like that, I just gotta ask, how got she out? How did she know there was even a key? How got she out? How did she learn to be so free? They smile at boys, they look at boys, they touch the boys, even your cousin or your brother. So says your mother, who is mad. She says they even hit on your dad. Their sirens pop and they're gone. They're under the spell, they're under the thumb. Their future is died. I do have friends, and some are boys, but I don't touch them 'cause they're boys. We do our homework on the phone, never alone. Across the line, I yearn to be bold and to tell, to behold and to yell of my deepest desires. But those kinds of girls, they don't seem unsure. They also don't seem wholesome. They're spoiled and pure. Girls like that, I just gotta ask, how got she out? How did she know there was even a key? How got she out? How did she learn to be so free? They see me staring, they don't care. They're so daring, they don't care. They share their lotions and their roll-ons. Let me borrow a comb from my hair. They're always nice to me, so kind to me. They don't judge me. Wish I could say the same. But they're wrong, and I'm right. It's the only way I sleep at night. I'm more focused, and I'm smarter. I guess I'm just saying I work harder. Not to say I think I'm better. I follow the rule to every letter. I play the game. But those kinds of girls, don't they know what they're doing? The way they act, the way they are, will lead them to ruin. Girls like that, I just gotta ask, how got she out? How got she out? How got she out? How did she know there was even a key? How got she out? How did she learn to be free? Oh, damn. I almost forgot. Remember that handkerchief I mentioned earlier? Desdemona owns it. It was given to her as a gift from Othello, as a token of his deep, deep affection. Desdemona owns it. When she drops it in an argument with Othello, Emilia, the wife of Iago, picks it up and she gives it to Iago. She knows it's wrong, but it's the right thing to do for her man. Emilia covets it. Iago then takes that handkerchief, that precious, precious token of Othello's affection, and he places it in the bedroom of the man Othello promoted over him, Cassio. Cassio finds the handkerchief and he casually gives it to Bianca, the town prostitute. At first, Bianca is thrilled, but then she realizes it probably belongs to another woman, and she shoves it back in Cassio's face. Bianca rejects it. Desdemona owns it. Amelia covets it. Bianca rejects it. Desdemona owns it. Amelia covets it. Bianca rejects it. Desdemona owns it. Amelia covets it. Bianca rejects it. A quick housekeeping note. For this next number we're going to do, we were scheduled to have some backup singers and dancers. We are unable to accommodate their hair and makeup needs. Magnetic eyelashes are ridiculously expensive. We've been trying to negotiate with them the whole time the show's been running. We've been on the phone with them. They're really just sitting up at the TGI Fridays on City Line Avenue. And their little sequin hot pants, eating jalapeno poppers. They could come down here and do this. But you know what? It's okay, because I have you all. So can you help me with this next song? Yeah. Do you think you could help me? Okay, very good. I said, do you think you could help me? Yeah. You shouldn't be the loudest. All right, it's 3 moves. All right? You just go on, bring your arms here to your face. Ooh, when you hear me say, ooh, that's right, that's number 1. Number 2, you're going to just bring in your bat wings, ooh. And then number 3, you're just going to throw it away. Throw it away. All right, so this is ooh, ooh, and throw it away, okay? So this is like a little, and let me see some shoulders. I feel like Lola Falana. Shoulders. Marilyn McCoo. Shake. Let me see your shoulders. Yeah, ooh. Hey. It's the way that you touch me, babe. Here we go. Is it the ooh? Do Actually, this isn't.
It's in the body.
It's in my body.
It's in the body.
All over my body.
It's in the body.
It's in my body.
It's in the body.
Is it the ooh? Is it the ooh? It's the way that you touch me, babe. I wanna go spin. Is it the ooh? Is it the ooh? It's the way that you touch me, baby. It's the way that you touch me. Is it the ooh? Is it the ooh? It's the way that you touch me, baby. I love it. Is it the ooh? Is it the ooh? Give me a strike a pop. Woo! That's for you all. Y'all did that work. They can stay up at that TGI Fridays with their strong little calves, their tight abs. Triple threat my ass. Shout out to my Zumba teacher. Okay. Othello's rage has been escalating because Iago has convinced him that the man he promoted over Iago, Cassio, is now having an affair with his wife, Desdemona. On top of that, Desdemona cannot produce this handkerchief, this token of Othello's affection. So in frustration, he slaps Desdemona across the face in front of a bunch of people, one of whom is her cousin who just came to visit her, tells her to go home, get in the bed, and wait. Desdemona is shocked, but she obeys. She goes home. She asks Emilia to put her wedding sheets on the bed. And she gets in the bed, and she waits. And whenever I get to this part in the play, I think, girl, why would you get in the bed? Don't get in the bed. But where was Desdemona going to go? In the play, her father has made it clear to her that his home is no longer open to her. In fact, his last words aren't to Desdemona, his daughter, but they're to Othello.
Look to her more, if thou hast eyes to see. She has deceived her father and may deceive thee.
In other words, bros before hoes.
Look to her more, if thou hast eyes to see. She has deceived her father and may deceive thee.
In other words, the bitches will bring you down.
Yo, look to her more. If thou hast eyes to see, she has deceived her father and may deceive thee.
In other words, never trust a big butt and a smile. That didn't translate well, but. Desdemona isn't ready to leave. It's her fault Othello is so mad and mean. So she can fix it and make it better, right? I was 24 and pregnant, living in a one-bedroom, 3-floor walk-up in Park Slope, New York, Brooklyn, when my boyfriend called the cops on me. Girl, that ain't even the worst shit. You know what I'm saying? Who is this? Is this who family member is this? And who else in here ever had the cops called on and hey, you know what I'm saying? And some of my friends are here and here, so your hand should be up, but it's okay. See you, Shawnee. I see you, Lulu, Maria, wherever y'all are. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes, the 1-bedroom, 3-floor walk-up. when my boyfriend called the cops on me. Okay, so it's New York. It wasn't really a one-bedroom. It was like a small with a wall. He put a bed in it. It wasn't a one-bedroom. I remember it's an unseasonably warm October afternoon. I have fashioned some African wax print around my belly. I'm wearing like a knockoff Mashoud t-shirt with no bra. And my hair is a twisted out mane of rage as I talk to this police officer. You're serious. He has a visible scratch on him where? He pushed me. I'm pregnant. He doesn't even live here. He lives with his mama and his daddy in Long Island City. Okay, all right. So because he called and he doesn't feel safe and he wants me to leave, you need to watch me leave before you'll leave. What is happening? I know he got in my face. I don't like it when people get in my face. What is happening? He pushed me. I know I pushed him. I know I'm knocked up. I want to knock him the fuck out. The push, we slap, knock shit over. I mean, and now pregnant and fighting. Being forced to leave my apartment. For what? That's not a reason to leave. That's a relationship. This is love. But where am I going to go? This is home. This feels like home. Home is where I learned that a man's anger is a woman's problem. Home is where my body at 10 is able to magically absorb the force of a calloused palm, the ring finger just above the lip with the ooh. Home is where at 12 I learned the ooh, the tucking in of the torso to protect the budding breast before the chest is splayed open. Home is where at 16 I learned the hand at the nape of the neck, pulling the head back, slingshotting it forward. Ooh. There's a rhythm to the way that we love. The hum, the sting, the buzz, the muted ringing in the ear, the I'm sorry, the tears, the welts. Your friends the next day at school, that I deserve this, that I can't learn this lesson. Is he tired? I think he's tired. And then a small, faraway voice. Honey, I think that's enough. Will it be enough? I just can't get enough. I think Desdemona thinks she can talk it out with Othello or fuck it out. Because if you can provoke him, you can stroke him. Am I right, ladies? And on the wedding sheets. Plus, he's not always like that with her. She can soften him. She knows him. Plus, you got a man. Can you keep a man? Where you gonna go without a man? Home. This is home. Home is where the hurt is. So you don't get out of the bed. You get into the bed. And you double down with the wedding sheets. So he can remember why he even needs you in the first place. Two hours later, I will my swollen ankled frame back up those 3 flights of stairs. trying to ignore my neighbors who I'm sure are looking through the peephole like, what now? He's gone. I quickly unlock my door, rush in, close it behind me, lock it back, put the latch across it. I lean against the door and I cry in the dark. I have been so proud of myself. All month I have been listening to baby Mozart CDs because I had read it was supposed to soothe the baby in my belly and make her smarter. And now I'm wondering what she's learning from my greatest hit. Is it the way that you touch me, baby? Is it the way that you touch me, baby? Is it the way that I learned you could touch me, baby? Is it the way, 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 the way? The way, the way, the way, the way you touch me. Is it the way that you touch me, babe? This can't be the way that we touch our babies. This is the way that I learned it was okay for you to touch me, baby. But it's not okay, it's not okay. There's a better way to touch me, baby. Is it the way? Well, we get to the end of Othello. And he does, in fact, put out the light, kills his wife, and kills himself. And done well, it is a gut-wrenching, horrible scene. All my sympathies are with Desdemona. You know, she has faithfully stood by her man as he descended into madness, abusing her in the process. He's scum for killing a woman. But my empathy kicks in. That little voice. Othello, seriously? Why'd you have to kill her? And a white woman? Like, we don't know what killing a white woman means? Come on. You know what? You should have been with a sister. A black woman would have known what to do with all of that energy. We would have helped you. You know what? It's not even your fault. The white world pushed you, backed you into a corner. You didn't have a choice. Why am I doing this? Why? Why am I finding reasons, making excuses for his behavior? Why? Why am I victim blaming? Black brother, I love you. I would never try to hurt you. I want you to know that I am here for you forever true. 'Cause you're my black brother, strong brother. There is no one above you. I want you to know that I am here for you forever true. 'Cause you're my black brother. I love you. I love you. There I would never try to hurt you. I want you to know that I am here for you forever true. 'Cause you're my black brother, strong, strong brother. There is no. I want you to know that forever true. That's not my song. Y'all know that. Some of y'all were totally confused on this one. Interestingly, the same people who were confused on the Once You Go Black song. That's not my song, Black Brother. Whose song is that? Angie Stone. Yes, released during what I like to call the D'Angelo era. Y'all having flashbacks. I know that tub. Anybody in here know the first lyric, the words, the first line to that song? He is my king. He is my one. Yes, he's my father. Yes, he's my son. And so I can't focus on Desdemona at the end of the play because I am so disappointed in Othello's choices. In the words of the great Tyra Banks, we were all rooting for you. And now you done fucked it all up and no one's gonna remember your great works. Can I even watch Fat Albert anymore? If I believe I can fly, can I touch the sky? I might want to be starting something. I ain't got to be starting nothing. Too far? I said pussy 3 times, but that's too far. Othello, where was your squad? Where were your homies, your boys? Where was your family? Where was your mother? I am Othello's mother. I'm Othello's sister. I'm Othello's lover. Some black women somewhere gathered in a circle and prayed for Othello's mother in childbirth. Some black woman somewhere got up in the middle of the night when he cried and picked him up out of his crib and rocked him back to sleep. Some black woman somewhere taught him how to clean up behind himself and wipe his behind. Some black girl somewhere taught him how to quit crying like a baby and square up when you get picked on. Some black woman somewhere taught him to be gentle and take his time. Some black women somewhere sat around with their shoes kicked off and their support garments rolled down And they laughed and laughed about the big-headed toddler with the gap-toothed grin and the long fingers. And they hoped they would be around to see the day when he would grow into a mighty name like Othello, Alton, Laquan, Michael, Philando, Eric, Tamir, Trayvon. Othello becomes enraged and frustrated because Desdemona cannot produce this handkerchief. He says his mother gave it to him, and the fact that she can't find it is proof of her recklessness, her carelessness towards his love for her. What if, when Othello was to embark on the journey that would eventually take him to Venice, his mother wanted to give him something that means everything a mother is trying to say in those difficult moments of separation? Things like, I love you. Don't forget me. Don't forget what I taught you. I'm afraid for you. I may never see you again. She might have thought to give him something small like jewelry, but she'd never forgive herself if he was hurt because of it. I did things for you that I would never do for any other man. And I loved you in a way that no other woman ever can. I was the first to hold your hand when you cried. I was the one who taught you how to wave goodbye. Of me you were born, but she could be gone tomorrow. 'Cause your work is never done when you're the mother of a son. I gave things to you that I would never give to another soul. And I was incomplete till all of you made me whole. But now I make you feel bad instead of better. I wasn't prepared for the two of you and a new together. Of me you were born, but she could be gone tomorrow. 'Cause your work is never done when you're the mother of a son. On the last day when Othello was in her his mother's house. She scanned her modest house looking for something to give him, and then she remembered the handkerchief. Othello's father had brought it home one night, said he got it from an Egyptian weaver. She didn't think anything of it. She threw it to the side. But one day when little Othello came running into the house from playing with the neighborhood kids, he scraped his knee. He was crying, and she grabbed that handkerchief, and she wiped his tears away. And every time after that, when Othello would get hurt or he would cry, he would ask for that handkerchief. He called it his raggy. It was like it was imbued with the essence of his mother. That was a long time ago, but on this day, the last day her son was in her home, his mother ran into her bedroom, found her special box of things under the bed, and she pulled out that handkerchief, still stained with his childhood tears. She ran back out, she pressed it in his hand. And he said, "Mom, I gotta go." And he knew what it meant, and she knew what it meant. That it was time for the world to meet the man she had painstakingly crafted him to be. But now I was the first to hold your hand when you cried. I was the one who taught you how to wave goodbye. Of me you were born, but she could be gone tomorrow. 'Cause your work is never done. Said your work is never done when you're the mother of a son. 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 All this time and effort I put into raising you, don't forget me. Is that okay to say? Don't forget who raised you up to be the success you already are and will continue to be. And I love you. There are no black women in Othello. But we are here, and we watch, and we wait, and we pray. We bear witness to the joys and the sorrows and the lies and the betrayals. And we want to heal. We want to thrive. We want to live. We're here. Even if you cannot see us, we are here. We've always been here. We're always going to be here. Even if you cannot see us, we are here. We've always been here. And we're always going to be here. Children close their eyes, believing if they can't see you, then you can't see them. I used to close my eyes, thinking I'd disappear. But when I'd open my eyes, believing because I can see you, now you can see me, I had to ask myself, am I even here? Invisible girl, divisible world, absorption of light, shining true. I am the color of everything vibrant and new. But if I'm nowhere, can I be anywhere? And if I'm nothing, can I be anything at all? So since I'm nowhere, I will be anywhere and anything I want. I used to close my eyes, believing, blend in, be quiet, do more than required, struggle toward beauty, and maybe it's something I'd earn. But now when I open my eyes, I'm done with submission. I don't need permission. My time is here. It's my turn. Seeing so clear, life without fear, giving of love, radiating somehow. I'm the impossible. I am the future. I'm now. But if I'm nowhere, can I be anywhere? And if I'm nothing, can I be anything I want? So since I'm nowhere, can I be anything and anywhere? This is not the path for everyone, so let that go and just keep growing. Was when all is said and done, I gotta keep on going. See, I don't want just a seat at the table. God willing, I want the chairs, the room, the whole damn building. So since I'm nowhere, I will be everywhere. And since I'm nothing, I will be everything I want. I am everywhere and everything and anything I want. We are everywhere and we are anything we want. All right, let me introduce my band, y'all. Over here on keys. Over here on keys, doing the most, and I love it. The mighty Mateo Gloistein. On bass, this is my supermodel. You know you always gotta have a supermodel in your band. On bass, the incomparable Stan Davis. but he has a hat because he's our musical director. This is Jimmy Coleman. Keep it going. Keep it going. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Keep it going. They're going to come from around their instruments.
Something. Love you.
Love you. Thank you. Oh.
This is from us.
Thank you. Y'all are killing me. Woo, all right. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Embelia Singley. I know these are. Wow. We had different chairs last night, but this is a thing. Thank you so much. We just thought as part of the show, we put out a lot of ideas, and we really gave a lot of ideas into the world, and we just wanted to hear a chance to see what you might have to say, what you're thinking, what's going through your head. So any question or comments that seems appropriate, just raise your hand, and we'll try to get to everyone. We can't stay too long, but we'll do our best. And thank you for staying. You had your hand up.
You were like, right at the top, you're like, this show sucks. This show sucks. Yeah. You were so pissed. I love it. Good.
But then what you did was amazing, because as much as I love Shakespeare, as many times as I've read Othello, I never got out of it everything that you pulled out of it. And my daughter does theater. She's at Kappa.
Yes. Congratulations. Yes.
We actually do Shakespeare next year. So this is, I thought it was just a great way for her to be introduced to Shakespeare. Because now she won't look at it from that
Girl.
angle.
We put you right in the fire.
So it's just kind of like, how did you come to that when you read Othello? Like, was it just something that it was like the first time you read it, or over and over again?
So I went to see Othello in 2013 because my very good friend, an actor by the name of Forrest McClendon, was in it. And
No, he's great.
all the snaps, Jay. And I really felt affected. Like, I think part of it was because it was him, and so I really felt connected to the character. And so I was like, oh, this is messed up. Look at him. What they doing? You know, I was having those levels. Iago was played by an actor, Jay Rodriguez. Is it Fernandez? Hernandez. Is that his name? Jay Hernandez, who was Latino. So that made me rethink also that narrative that Iago is this racist white man, you know? But I was interested because I just felt, I was feeling a lot around it. So then I went and saw it. I went back and made my mom and my oldest daughter go. And my first thought was I wanted to write a soundtrack for each of the characters. Like, I just felt like it'd be great to just release an album that was like the, you know, hidden soundtrack of Othello. Then 2 years ago, I did the theater residency here in this basement with Jay for 2 weeks. And you could work on whatever you wanted to work on. And so Othello had always stayed with me, and I wanted to spend more time looking at the characters and trying to understand why I was connecting with these characters. And part of that is, for me, is Kimberly Crenshaw, the legal scholar who came up with the idea of intersectionality. And I found the idea of intersectionality is that Black women sit at the intersection of race, gender and class at all times. And so we can have these very divided loyalties. Because I felt, why am I rooting for Othello? You know, why do I feel love for him? You know, and then why do I relate to Desdemona? You know, why would I? And so as I dug into that, this started coming up to the surface. And so it gave me time to connect Othello to myself. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, go for it.
It's not a question at all. I just have a statement. I just wanted to say I really do appreciate you just making like statements about problems that Black women do face, especially because you can really connect it into modern day. Because like I feel like, especially on Instagram, we talk about it, but we're not heard. And so I really do appreciate that, especially somebody that's in the theater realm where like race does play a big part.
Yeah.
But nobody sees it. Thank you. That's all. That's it.
That's the tweet. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
You can quote that.
I'll quote it. I got you. Actors. First of all, you don't even have to say that. All these sisters in here, you know, you don't even have to say this is not a question. Say it. And those sparkles and those pants. Yes, turn. Woo! You are like this disco ball at the end. Do it. You are everywhere. Okay, statement. Absolutely.
Really amazing, and I just wanted to say I really appreciated it, and I really enjoyed it. The thoughts and everything that you connected, it's just amazing.
Great, thank you. And my director, Starfire, you please stand up. Starfire, Christina May. Oh yeah, where's Melody? Are you in here?
Melody, shout out to the team.
Yeah.
Andre, Eileen, we can't be Angela, the whole squad.
Amy.
Everybody in the squad.
Yeah.
All right, we love y'all. It's a team effort. But Indy wrote it. And I couldn't exist unless you created it.
Thank you. Oh, and then. Oh. Thank you, Shannon. Thank
Is there plans to take it on the road?
We should take it on the road. Make it happen. Call your people. Call your connects. We trying to travel. That's it.
That's fantastic.
That's right.
We're going to try to rise up out of the basement. We're going to rise up. We're coming to the ground level, right? Yeah.
The song's a soundtrack. Sell the songs, because I don't even listen to music, but I think I would just be all that.
But you skipped the first track. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say you've transformed everything in such a beautiful way. I mean, the way you told the story, the way you sung the story, the way you transformed Othello. There was so much transformation. I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah. You're welcome. Thanks, Ann. Greg. Burton had a question.
This is my first time seeing you before. And, I don't know what my expectations were from you, but I was blown away.
Facts.
Yes.
By the talent of you and the band, and just the concept of everything. So my question was similar to what that woman asked was, you poured your heart and soul into the project, obviously. Like, what's next? If it's not the play, like, what's next for you?
Well, I've been working so hard on a play that I skipped 2 weeks of therapy, so I'm going to back that up with some double sessions. We're going to see. I miss that therapist, y'all. You're going to be like, what happened? So So yes, we will continue with that. I don't know. This has been a labor of love for a long time. You know, I don't know. I really just wanted to give a good show. You know what I mean? I wanted to, but that was my focus. So I didn't think beyond. Yeah. Well, you know, it's a Black Girl Magic. You know, you familiar with that? Yeah. And I say that as a you know, I love the term Black Girl Magic, but I also sometimes am challenged by it because it reinforces this notion of perfection that I feel Black women always have to deal with, right? But I knew I could not get up on this stage and not bring it. You know what I mean? Because we don't often get second chances. I'm not saying you wouldn't have, because this is a really lovely white man to the right of me. You know what, y'all? We did a thing on the news on Black History Month, and the woman asked me questions, and then she said, "So, what do you think is the true value of Black History Month and what it means to the world? And she was like, Jay." And I was like, "Yeah, Jay." Y'all, Jay came through off the cuff. He was using correct terminology. I was like, "Okay, Jay, what did you say?" People who were brought here by force. I was like, "Do it." So you don't get more than one chance, you know. So I really wanted to. I wanted to bring something that I said to Jay. I wanted this to be a love letter to Black women. You know. I wanted us to just kind of love up on each other, you know, and yeah.
But also, I want to thank you for your authenticity. Because it often, thank you for sharing those white women's stories. And sharing them in a way that you got a side wink and a nod from all the Black women in the audience. And some shocked looks from the white women who were like, "Who says those things?" But because those things literally happened. Like, it just happened in actually like 2 days ago. And I was like, and so, I want to thank you for that, because I've seen you in so many different ways of performing, and I just was really blessed to see all the iterations of you that I know are there in this one space, and that this is a story that just needs to be told because it has the vulnerability in it, right? But I just wanted to ask you, what made you share? Because sometimes as Black women, we don't share those stories, right? We share those stories in private, right? You know, like, what made you basically say, excuse my French, fuck it, I'm gonna throw this out here and see what happens. Like, what made you? I don't want to say brave enough, because that's not really the term I want to say, but like, what has made you like untether your soul, really, about it?
Okay, so I mentioned therapy. But also, I think girls are very good at keeping secrets. I think Black girls are very good at keeping everyone's secrets. You know, we keep all the secrets, and I think I reached a point over the last few years with some challenges I had that I realized, like, I'm tired of protecting at the expense of myself. You know? And so it's really interesting because, you know, I put in the Michael Jackson joke, and that sometimes I didn't and sometimes I did. But I did that because I was interrogating that for myself, which is to say, I want to protect Michael Jackson. I want to say that. That's my instinct. He's dead, he's gone. I want to protect him, right? And I want to interrogate why I want to do that. So I make the joke, you know, and I love the groans. And in fact, last night, somebody was sitting next to somebody, I said, "Too far?" They were like, "Absolutely." Because for some people, and that's why I followed that up tonight with like, "Hello, I'm talking about pussy and whatnot." Like, that wasn't too far, but Michael Jackson is too far. And that's a real feeling I would have, is like, I'm okay to talk about my stuff, but I must protect this Black man. You know? And so, because of some challenges, some family challenges over the last several years, I realized, like, why am I still hiding? Because even when you protect the secrets, you're alone with them, right? So you're lonely either way. You know what I mean? Like, so I guess I just felt like with some of the issues I talk about, Black women are more, in the issue of domestic violence, Black women are more likely than any demographic to face domestic violence. And I want to be able to talk about that. Because when we talk about it, to me, what's important is there is space for healing. As we're in this, what was being termed this #MeToo culture, there's space for learning. There's space for healing. I think the challenge becomes is some people don't want to heal. They don't want to apologize. They like, fuck it, I'm not so then why keep, at some point, it's like there's always room and there's space. And that's why I wanted to create room and space for, there's always love, love is there. But I just, what is it? You're as sick as the secrets you keep, and I just felt like I just don't want to be sick anymore.
I've known you for a while as a friend, but also as a musician, as a performer, as a jazz singer, as a choir director, as a whole bunch of things, and all of these things get put together here. But you're also an educator, a teacher. You've taught us. But I don't want to lay that on you as a responsibility, because, I'm not saying you're there supposed to teach us. No, it just happens because you're a particular genius, and that your audiences will learn from you.
Yeah.
And let it happen.
Yeah. I like that you said that. I went to Vermont to work on it, and when I came back, I had about 60 pages of stuff that would make the white people in here feel terrible about yourselves. I probably would have gotten a Guggenheim because it was like, the flagellation. It's like, yeah. And then I looked over, I was like, this is trash for me, because I was like, who is my audience? And again, I was like, my audience is Black women. So there were certain things in there that I was like, y'all already know. Y'all know who the original Aunt Viv is. And that's not to say we all don't, but we know about new Aunt Viv and old Aunt Viv. And we have feelings about it. And so I got rid of that draft because it was educational. It was like so on the nose educational, because that's the way, it was like I'm interrogating this Othello and I'm doing it in this and I was like, what is this bull? Cut that shit out. Like, what happens if you write as if your audience knows? What if your audience is yourself, and women who've experienced similar things? And so, right, the education can happen, right? I'm sure there's some people who are like, I got to Google that when I get home. Who is D'Angelo? Meanwhile, we were all thinking about that video. Like twitching. This squad over here was like, yeah. So some of us will go home and Google, and some of us will go home and enjoy our evening. And if it happens to be educational because folks listening to it feel that that's great. But right, I purposely made it, for Black women. Yeah. Thanks, Bruce.
What's the thing that you feel like gets missed, or the thing that, hey, I made this reference and I don't know if it's gonna resonate in the way I want it to with the audience?
You better ask the question.
Yeah, you're asking me what specifically might have been in there?
Yeah, and it might not be any one thing, but just like,
yeah.
I don't know if that landed with the audience and it was supposed to, or like when I wrote this, I wanted to see the reaction.
Right. Nothing comes to mind because over these 4 nights, every audience was a little bit different, So I'm not sure. Yeah, that's a good question. Sorry. Is there something you can think of I did that didn't land? You know how somebody's trying to tell you something? I'm like, are you trying to, there's a question in the question.
What I will say, so like the things that landed with me, like the Aunt Viv reference, as a dark-skinned brown
Yes.
woman who grew up with Fresh Prince,
Yes.
like that landing,
Right.
as an aunt to a brother and sister-in-law who I'm like, how is my sister-in-law preparing my nephew for the world? Right? What's
Right.
my role in that?
Right.
Like there was a lot
Right.
to sort of unpack, and so as I was thinking about me in this and enjoying your story, I was like, okay, but what am I missing? Because there's a lot here.
Right. I don't think you missed anything. I don't. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. This table has questions. Can you just respond and kind of walk us through, I don't know, some of the feelings you felt through your process as I'm sitting here, and I don't want to say just as a Black woman, but you took me on a journey of emotions, right? And you interwove humor for things that are painful. So to respond to even your question around the way some things land, so like while some people are laughing, right, and I'm not angry, I'm sitting here, So what is that like for you? Like every day you're poring over the script, what is that like to go home with all these feelings and emotions aside from therapy, right? Since you've been on break. But like, what's that process been like for you?
There were times. So it was I don't know if anyone here has ever kept a journal, but sometimes you may find yourself lying to yourself in your journal. I had a great day. And you're like, no, you didn't. Shit. I really had to work to make my space safe for me. And so there were days that I didn't want to work on it because it was like opening it up, opening up a wound. And then when I got in there, I went to quickly clean it up and move on. And so really slowing down, for me, quiet meditation helps, just absolutely quiet with my little meditation app timer with no voices, no sound, and just breathing because I often mention a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And that's a book that deals with the effects that various traumas can have on your body and your nervous system. And so that book has been helpful to me in helping me understand why sometimes I would start writing and feel panic. And this is on the easier shit. Like, why did I feel panic? Part of it was through the work I realized I was coming out as a Black woman. I know that sounds weird because I look Black and I am. But I realize I'm often in spaces where I neutralize that. I kind of don't make a big deal about it. Like, it's okay. We're all hanging out. It's great. And I was really no, put that, talk about it. And there was resistance from myself to do that, which at times was very painful because it's like, wow, do you know how to show up for yourself? I think one of the things, Black women know how to show up for everybody. And I say that even in the political sphere. That's literally true. Black women, the way Black women vote, we tend to vote in ways that lift the entire community. We don't just go in and think, I just want, we think, okay, we all want universal child care. We all want the minimum wage to be raised because that helps all of us, And so the way we constantly think is everyone is with us. We're bringing everyone up. And so, but in my writing, I was like, I can't bring everyone with me right now. And I don't know how to not do that. And so at times, just the writing was really hard. And I, through the meditation, would be like, you know what? Okay, then today I'm not going to, I'm going to be nice to myself. Instead of being like, why can't I do this? Why? Why is this so hard? Why am I having emotional? Just some days being like, you know what? It's okay. This is a lifelong thing of having learned to submit. And now you're asking yourself to not submit yourself. That's going to take a minute. And so it was a lonely process. It was very fun though, because obviously once you go Black, I was like, I don't care what happens. This can just be an hour of me singing that song on repeat. But it's going in, so then it was having fun with the music. Music is always a very strong entry point for me because it allows you to say things you can't say. You can sing it. It's funny if you put it to a tune, But it was, at times it was fun. It allowed me to go back to my books, which is why I gave you this book list, because my books are so important to me. And what they do is remind you, you're not alone. Sometimes you're reading something maybe by Patricia Hill Collins from 35 years ago. And it's the same thing, it's the same resonance. And that just felt like these women, on my bookshelf were like, keep going, So it was a tough process. My husband can tell you that. I mean, there was a lot of days coming home, I'm in my bathrobe. He's like, how was I'm like, don't ask me how my day was. He's like, yes.
Just a few more questions. Yes, sir.
I was struck by you saying that the lack of ego, if you're nothing, you can be everything. And I think that has a real deep spiritual resonance with me. And I was just wondering if you want to say more about where that idea developed with you.
At first, we did a workshop where I started with Shakespeare Sucks, and the question came up like, well, at the end of it, like, well, how do you feel about Shakespeare? And that was actually a great question because it allowed me to say, I ain't really actually thinking about Shakespeare. And that was revolutionary because I'm so used to engaging with these classic texts in a way that present me as smart and present me as like, let me show you what I know. And it was revolutionary for me to just be like, what if I say I don't give up? Am I allowed to do that, right? And I realized, yeah, I am allowed to do that because I'm allowed. I'm allowed. And so there are classical texts, right, that many of us in here, the classical texts that are part of what they call the canon that we've all had to read, many of us have had to read, and it's like they're in the canon because they're universal stories. But I think my story is a universal story. Like for some people, it's more specific, but everybody in here has been lonely, the only lonely in some form or fashion. Now, it may not have followed you your whole life, but we've all felt that. And so then the question for me became, if that's a universal story and mine's a universal story, then how come we don't see more black women in the canon, more trans folk in the canon? You know what I mean? Like everybody should be in the canon because everybody's story can be universal. So then I just kept playing with this idea of like, so if I ain't shit, I'm the shit. You just flip it over. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not shit. I'm the shit. Like, it's the same, I can do that, And I really wanted to give my permission to just say, yeah, you don't see me, so I can be anything I want to be, and not hold on to whatever, I'm imagined to be. Like, that's not my imagination. That's the wider world's, the whiter world's imagination of what I can be. And I've adopted that as my own. I'm like, no, we're just going to move that. Yeah. Yeah.
The comment you had about Desdemona's father's interrogation of her. Yeah, I actually had a comparable conversation with my father shortly after I met my wife and started dating and realized she was my forever wife, as opposed to the wife I had before, which doesn't count.
I mean, I'm sure she has a different opinion on that. But I get you. Go, yeah.
That concept, he just actually expressed, he saw how...
That's your wife sitting next to you? Hey, sis. Okay.
Well, I really see in that, I had that, I don't get it. But he actually, by the time he died in a month and a half, or 3 months after we started seriously dating, but he came to the realization, yeah, that's the right thing. It's just, I wish he had a chance to meet my father-in-law because they would have been really great buddies.
Yeah.
Type of thing. And her dad and my mom were no problem.
Yeah.
Her mom and my dad, they had issues. They were both, different illnesses.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. And okay, sis. Yes. Okay, good job. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah.
Last question. Yeah. No pressure.
So as we start to tell these stories and open ourselves up and become vulnerable, how do we tell these stories and create stories that, as we see ourselves, empower us? So as we become everywhere, how do we tell our stories in a way that inspire? Or allow us to be more than just magic?
Right. I mean, that's a great question. I'm interested in the way, I often bag on social media. I just rag on it because that's what I do. But it really has created a space and place for other voices. And I find it so compelling. I find Black Twitter very compelling. I find people's ability to tell their stories on Instagram unfiltered, unfettered. I find YouTube, the access people have to media to tell more and more stories. But I'm trying to figure it out myself because, as I said, I am in the basement. You're in a basement right now. I'm trying to get up. No, I don't know. But I think we're going to figure it out. How old are you? What? I'm sorry, but Black does not crack. I thought you were like 17. Girl, you know what to do. You tell me. Holy, is it the lighting? I don't think so. You're stunning. Oh. I don't know. That's a good ass question then.
Well, thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you, MB. It has been nothing but a joy and an honor and a privilege to work with you on this show. To your question, I think what we're trying to do here with the arts and the performing arts particularly here is provide space for everyone to get a chance to tell their stories. So come back. As she said, support the artists in our city. They're really amazing group of people. We're very fortunate to have the talent that we have in Philadelphia. So buy the ticket, buy the t-shirt, download the album, and check out the work that's all around you from the people that are really telling their stories. Well, there's not an album for this show, but there are albums for people. Thank you. Have a good night.